All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cubs on Tap. I'm your host tonight, Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. Joined by my friend Joe. You can follow him at Joe Maris. He was at the game today.
Yeah.
At Wrigley. So he's vibing. He's feeling good.
Yeah.
He's probably had like at least $5 to $10, $12 beers.
Yeah.
He's vibing out. I can't believe he's actually here. We were not going to do post game today because no one is available because it's Memorial Day. But he's here.
Always available to talk about the Cubs.
Hell yeah. I absolutely love that. Dope red beard coming in already. Cubs on W's, more like it. I love that too. Cubs on W's. As always, this is Cubs on Tap, the official Cubs podcast of On Tap Sportsnet. Welcome everyone to the stream. Welcome if you're listening via podcast form on your Tuesday after Memorial Day. Joe, the Cubs win 7-2 against San Diego, and this isn't like a San Diego team that we're used to seeing in the past. Like, this team is one of the best teams in baseball. They have one of the biggest faces in baseball in Fernando Tatis Jr. You saw him hit an opposite field dong today. I guess we'll just start with you. Like, you were at the game, man. What was it like? I mean, 60% capacity. You got homers flying out because the wind's blowing out. That vibe has not been at Wrigley in a long time.
No, it was. It felt like the wind was blowing in for like 6 days straight. So it's nice to finally see the wind blowing out and the Cubs take full advantage of that. I mean, 5 home runs, 2 by Wisdom, 2 Baez, and Oppo Brian homer. The coolest thing about the Baez homers too, both times, especially the first one where they were losing 1-0. There's huge Javi chance going, and then he just destroyed a ball to deep center, and it was perfect.
Yeah, no, he got the curtain call today, which I tweeted out. You know, he actually deserved that one, unlike the one Yachty decided to give all of Cardinal fans after he hit a go-ahead homer off us in St. Louis a week ago. Mm-hmm. And part of me was trolling, and part of me actually agrees with that because Javi did hit 2 home runs today. And both of them to dead center, just like I don't think those would have mattered if the wind was blowing out. He first one murdered those baseballs.
Yeah, 455. Oh boy, it could have been the wind was blowing in. That thing's still going out. Yeah, nothing was gonna do about those.
Yeah, so I guess we can go over the game a little bit. We do want to mention or talk or discuss a little bit about the games over the weekend against the Reds. We haven't put out a podcast since, I think it was the last game against the Pirates. So we have a whole series, I guess, to kind of wrap up, and we'll preview tomorrow's game. Mm-hmm. So obviously today, the big story outside of the homers was Cole Stewart. Came up out of nowhere because Trevor Williams ended up having an how do you pronounce it? Thank you for pronouncing it, because I can't pronounce it. My girlfriend, she corrected me like 10 times today. Appendicitis or something like that, right?
You have appendectomy when you have appendicitis, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So he had an emergency one, so he couldn't start today. Hopefully he's okay. They put him on the IL. Hopefully he gets back soon, because he was moving in a positive direction. But Cole Stewart gets probably, I don't know what time he got the call, but I'm sure it was pretty late yesterday where he gets the call, and he's like, hey, get over here. You got to go up against one of the better offenses in baseball tomorrow. And he came out, and the one run he allowed was unearned. It wasn't even his fault. Mm-hmm. Went 5 strong today, man. From the stands, what he look like he had going for him for you?
He only struck out 2 people. He was a strike thrower. I mean, he really never got himself into any trouble after the first inning. A couple of ground ball double plays. He did exactly what we needed. I would have loved to have seen him go more than 5, but hard to argue with when Sergio Alcantara came and hit a double, helped us in the lead. So yeah, he was great. Everything we could have hoped for.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe that they'd leave him in, considering the Cubs had a huge lead. But with the wind blowing out, I'm sure Rossi was like, let's get this guy out while he's got some confidence and with some momentum going. Your bullpen was, yesterday they didn't really use any of their big arms because they lost 5-1. So I mean, Dylan Maples got an inning in there. They didn't use any of the Keegan Thompson. He hadn't pitched in a couple of days, so he came in, pitched, went almost through 3 innings, and went 2 1/3.
Gave up his first run of his career.
Gave up his first run of his career to Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a bad guy to give up your first run to. But
as a Cubs fan at the game today, you kind of couldn't have hoped for a better game. Cubs hit 5 homers, plus you got to see Tatis hit a homer too, so that's pretty cool.
Right, yeah. And you got to see Victor Caratini get some at bats. He got a nice ovation. Yeah. So like I was saying, Thompson went 2 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. He gave up the 1 home run to Tatis. His ERA is now 0.52. And then my guy Andrew Chafin comes in, gets two outs, including a strikeout, in which he struck out Fernando Tatis Jr. and I think in an inning where the Padres had a couple guys on, or at least one guy on.
He came in with a man on, almost got a double play. They overturned it after review and then struck out.
Exactly, yes. And then another guy that we keep talking about, Tommy Nance, comes. I know it's low leverage. They're up 7-2, but Tommy Nance comes in, shuts him down, 3 strikeouts, 30-year-old who was in the independent league at one point. This guy, it doesn't matter what scenario he's in, he just goes out there and he's just getting outs, and that's all I ask. And he's pumping 96 on the edges. You love to see it. The guy, again, I have no freaking idea what they did with him, but he's getting it done.
You look at overall, I mean, Cole Stewart after the game praised the Cubs as an organization and the way, their information they're able to give them and the care. So it's whatever they're doing seems to be working.
Exactly. Yeah. Dope Redbeard mentions Patrick Wisdom. Yeah, it's another guy we haven't even mentioned yet. 2 home runs today from him. The Patrick Wisdom game, honestly, he's the one who kind of, Javi hit the one to give him the lead, and then Wisdom kind of helped, make the lead bigger. And I don't want to say out of nowhere, because a couple of those games where the wind was blowing in, Wisdom got some up in the air and would take him to the warning track. And you're like, man, if the wind's blowing out or not even blowing in at all, maybe he gets those out. So I've thought that he's had some power, and the baseball gods helped him out today and was like, okay, it's your time, man. And we got a great game out of him.
He's hitting 500. I mean, it's only 15 at bats, but he's 500. That's no joke.
Yeah, no, yeah. He, I saw in the lineup today, he had he has an OPS now after today. He has an OPS of 1.633, which is just video game numbers. It's not fair. He's batting .467. So, I mean, Patrick Wisdom is a good example of like what we keep saying about all the bullpen arms that are coming up and just, helping out as much as they can. Mm-hmm. And, Bodie's going to be out for a while. Matt Duffy's out for who knows how long. We got all these guys with the hamstring problem. Anything Patrick Wisdom gives this team is a freaking plus. And he looks decent over at third. He hasn't made an error yet. Like,
he had a couple nice plays today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, right. Yeah, he's been very fun to watch at the plate so far. Scott from Iowa is chiming in. He says, counting his home runs in Iowa, I think he has 7 in his last 7 games. Yeah. I'd have to go and look that up, but if that is true, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about Patrick Wisdom. I know absolutely nothing about him. I have to go look at his career and see like where he was rated as a prospect coming up. I don't even think he has 100 career games under his belt. Like, I feel like he's been like a fringe minor league, major leaguer his entire career.
Yeah, and Cardinals, and that was about it.
Yeah, like he's honestly, I hate to say this, but he's like, he kind of reminds me of all those random Cardinals who've just beat us at random times throughout our lives that you've never heard of and have the most random ass freaking names. This is who Patrick Wisdom is doing. Except for the Cubs now. It's like, it's nice. It's kind of nice to be part of that. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. Big time. He's absolutely crushing balls, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Dope Redbeard, he says, Cubs organizational depth is coming up huge right now, quite honestly. It so is. It very much is. From now, not just bullpens, but like, getting Cole Stewart's performance today. So for starters, and then obviously on the positional. I mean, going into today, I wasn't feeling real good. I haven't liked what I've seen out of Rafael Ortega. I haven't really liked what I'm seeing out of Eric Sogard consistently over at second base. Like, he's a nice depth piece on the bench, but he's not a guy I want to start every day. And then Patrick Wisdom, like, I don't know, like he's hit the ball hard, but like I just don't know. And he kind of just he took me over the line today. Like I'm gonna be a Patrick Wisdom guy until further notice. I'm a Patrick Wisdom guy,
and like you pointed out on Twitter, the no undershirt. That's a
yeah, no undershirt Patrick Wisdom. That's what I'm talking about. Patrick no undershirt Wisdom. Scott from Iowa says that he was a first round pick from St. Louis. Again, didn't know that, and if that's true, I might just start literally trolling Cardinal fans and for the rest of time if this is the case. Because
hopefully we can add him to Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena list.
I was getting ready to say, it's like if we can add Patrick Wisdom to that list of Cardinals who have like been traded by the Cardinals and have gone on to be really good, I would love Patrick Wisdom to be that guy. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Let's see. Chris Bryant hit one out today.
Triple.
Yeah, and he tripled. And, I think that's, Profar, you could have argued that he should have played it better.
Right.
But the ball dropped and the ball rolled all the way to the wall, man. That's a triple. That's all I can say.
I think he's doing it all. He's pulling the ball. He's hitting it to center. He's hitting it to right. There might have been maybe a little bit of a wind-aided home run, but who cares?
Right.
There was a man on third, deep enough to get the run in, and the wind took it out. It's perfect.
Right. Yeah, no, it's always good to see KB, especially when he's going the opposite way. Because last year, I feel like his biggest problems was he was just like a dead pull hitter if he did do anything. And this year, you're seeing him take the ball up the middle, take it to right center. Obviously, turns on some as well. But the approach and everything from him has just been incredible, absolutely incredible, and you're getting it when you need it the most, especially with the injuries. You put all the contract talk to the side, put it all to the side. Considering where the Cubs are with injuries right now, this guy has been as consistent as as is humanly possible for one of your top stars. Like, you can't say that about Javi Baez, and you can't say that about Anthony Rizzo this year. You just can't. And I know that those two guys have had little injury stints, but even when they are healthy, you're just not getting the same consistency out of them as you are Chris Bryant. And that doesn't mean I don't like those guys. I'm just saying the facts. You're getting so much more out of Chris Bryant than anyone else in this lineup. And again, I'm just going to keep emphasizing it because trading him for the future is not going to get you anything close to what he's worth. There's no freaking way, unless you're getting a guy that is top 5 MLB prospect right now. And I don't think any team out there is going to trade for Chris Bryant and give up that piece whenever he literally would be a rental. The Cubs are just not going to get anything like that.
And at this moment, like I wrote a piece earlier in the week, I think it's time to stop with the trade deadline talks. Personally, I mean, we'll definitely know a little bit more after this little stretch. We got 2 more games against the Padres and a series against the Giants. Those are 2 great teams. Yeah. So we beat Cardinals 2 out of 3 in St. Louis. That's a big series. I mean, that shows you something. And then they take care of business against the Reds and the Pirates. And then now we're going to see what they can do against the Padres and the Giants. I mean, those are 2 top teams in the NL. So it's at some point we might have to shift that conversation. So what are we going to add? So, and, I never enjoyed the Chris Bryant trade talks just because I don't want to see him go personally. But yeah. I think we're getting to that time that it's time to stop talking about what we're going to do at the deadline as far as being sellers. That could definitely change in the next 2 months, but at this moment, I'm not ready to talk about that.
I got you. Yeah. No, I mean, and it's only just been like the conversation throughout national media and even Chicago media. So, and I've been very, very outspoken about how we need to keep this guy around, and we should shame all the people who really said this guy is not any good anymore. So some comments coming in here. Dope Redbeard, we got the Padres again, and then I believe we got St. Louis and the Mets after that. That's true. And I tweeted out something today. I was like, over this next stretch, these next 17 games, I was hoping the Cubs would go 9-8. That's like a realistic outlook, I think, which means that they would go 3-3 against the Padres, win the series against St. Louis, and split with the Giants and the Mets. Because the Giants and the Mets are both 4-game series. So, You never know, but at the same time, I think that's a realistic outlook. And if the Cubs go 9-8 over that stretch, they'll be right where they're at now, record wise, in terms of the difference between 500 and everything. They basically will be. So, that's all I can ask for from that standpoint. What do you call it? Scott from Iowa, he also said Wisdom's a 2012 first round pick, and in 2017 was left unprotected for the Rule 5 draft. Again, a guy who's been like outside of the fact that he's a first round pick, I did not realize he must have just not really developed quickly, obviously, or else he wouldn't be in the position he's in. But a guy that probably just didn't pan out to begin his career and has just been kind of going through the motions. I know last year I don't think he played for a team last year. At least he was probably at an alternate site. If not that, he was, just a minor leaguer. I don't know. But
he's been within the Cubs organization for a little bit.
Yeah.
2017. Yeah.
Right. So, credit to the organization and the scouting and everything. So many people just really doubt this Cubs front office and everything. We've had to hear it for the last 2 years, it feels like, and it's like ridiculous. I think the Cubs are kind of instilling some faith again into the fan base in terms of their just organizational development, because at least they should be, because this season basically sums it up. So, yeah, man. So as far as anything else about today, I thought today was just a huge win, because I did not feel good going into this game, because you didn't know what you're going to get out of Cole Stewart. You didn't know what you're going to get out of this offense that, after what you're going to get. The only thing I ever feel good about consistently is the bullpen, and they showed up. So I think you got all three aspects. You got starting pitching, you got the offense, and you got the bullpen. I feel great going into tomorrow's game again with Kyle Hendricks as the starter. Yeah, we can move on to that real quick. Unless you have any other thoughts, man. No,
it's great. It's always great to win the first game of the series, especially with your ace on the mound the next day. Get yourself in a position to win the series. So today was awesome. Best basically in quite a while.
Yeah,
it was all around. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I don't think I've mentioned. I know I have it in like our caption on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. But the Cubs finished May 19-8. They won 7 of the last 8 to end the month. And another interesting stat: they're 25-0 entering the 9th inning when leading. So they are, when they get to the 9th inning, they're absolute nails. And a lot of that has to do with Craig Kimbrel and also just the bullpen in general. Or the 25-0 when leading entering the 9th inning. I don't know if I said that correctly, but anyway, yeah, no, I feel really good about the team going into tomorrow. At least I'm, to be honest, when I said going 3-3 against the Padres this year, I'm like, okay, that means maybe we win like 1 in this series and then go to San Diego, maybe sneak out 1 or 2 more. Now I'm like, man, maybe we can, maybe go 5-2 against San Diego, or not 5-2, but 5 would it be 5-3?
How many games? It's 3-game series.
It's a 3-game series, so not 5-2. It would be like 4-2. That's what I'm thinking is 4-2. Like now the way that they played today, I'm like, man, maybe we can get that, because if they can win tomorrow with their ace on the mound, then Wednesday you're kind of like, we'll take a sweep, but we'll be okay as well if we lose that game. So I think tomorrow is just as huge as today. And obviously every game's important, but I think if they can win tomorrow with their ace, they're going to feel really good going into the road. When they
facing Chris Paddock is no joke. He's no elite top of the line pitcher, but he's a great pitcher. And they, even before they scored in the 3rd inning, they had him at over 70 pitches after 3 innings.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good success.
Right. Yeah, I think in that 2nd inning, Paddock threw he had over 30 pitches in the 2nd inning alone. And even though the Cubs didn't score, they made the guy throw a lot of pitches. And you just knew the Cubs offense, if they could just get something rolling against them, he might give up something. I did not see the 5 home runs coming, but, I'll take it. Obviously, the wind helped him a little bit today. But I think that makes you give more credit to Cole Stewart as well, because he didn't give up any home runs, and that Padres lineup is no joke, bro. No joke at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about tomorrow's game. So, like I said, Kyle Hendricks coming on the mound against a guy by the name of Ryan Weathers. He comes in 2-1 with a 1.131 earned run average of 27 strikeouts. It's the first time he's faced the Cubs in his career. Let's see. He's pitched 4 innings in each of his 3 starts since he returned to the rotation. And he has a 2.25 ERA in that span. Kyle Hendricks, he's 5-4 with a 4.63 ERA, which might be alarming, but if you look at his last few starts, he's really brought that ERA down. He's got 47 strikeouts on the season as well. So like I said, the Cubs have never seen Weathers, so that's going to be fun tomorrow to kind of see how the first and second time through the lineup go, I think. And
it seems like he's only gone 4 innings in the 3 starts, so they're probably not going to want him to go more than 2 times through the order. So
right.
The Cubs made the Padres throw, I think it was 5 innings out of the bullpen today. So they didn't use many of their top of the line guys, but if the Cubs are able to jump on Weathers tomorrow, they're not going to be able to use their top of the line guys anyway. So
right. No, I agree. I'm looking at the Padres lineup, like their history against Hendricks. It looks like Manny Machado, he's batting .333 and 6 at bats against Kyle Hendricks. Will Myers is batting .313 and 16 at bats. Tommy Pham's .286 and 14 at bats. So that most of those at bats probably came when he was with St. Louis. And then Tatis has only faced Kyle Hendricks 3 times. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. So Tommy Pham does have a home run, and so does Eric Hosmer. He's batting .273 against Kyle Hendricks. He has 1 home run against him in 11 at bats. So not a lot of damage against Kyle Hendricks, but not a lot of people have a lot of damage against Kyle Hendricks in their career. So I think that's good to show, but I guess it'll be interesting to see how the wind plays tomorrow. As much as I would like the wind to be blowing like it was today, Kyle Hendricks, his Achilles heel this year for sure has been the home run ball. So if he starts giving up homers like he did against Dope Redbeard, he mentions the Braves are the only team that gave Kyle trouble this year, and that's pretty much the gist. But his entire April was not good in general. So you get a lineup like similar to the Braves, which I feel like the Padres lineup is right up there with the Braves in terms of talent offensively. If Kyle Hendricks isn't getting ground balls, then I'm going to be scared every time they hit a fly ball, and if the wind's blowing out at least. But that said, Kyle Hendricks is trending up. He's been very good his last 3 starts.
Yeah, I think so. Cubs are facing a lefty tomorrow, Weathers. So I don't think we're going to see Sogard again, especially Alcantara. He's a switch hitter, so we'll likely see him maybe at second base. It says he's a shortstop, but we got that pretty locked up. So you'll probably see him at second base, and for right field, I mean, they got to take Ortega out of the lineup, especially against another lefty. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Maybe they give Martini a shot for a day. Face a lefty. I mean, they don't have any right-handed hitting outfielders at the moment besides Happ and Bryant, but Bryant's got to face until.
Well, with that said, maybe Rizzo is back tomorrow. He was out taking ground balls pregame today. So was Marisnick and Jason Hayward. Would be huge if the Cubs can at least get Rizzo back in the lineup tomorrow, and then you could put Chris Bryant out in right field and use Ortega as like a bench guy. Which I've kind of slandered Ortega, but he's just not good in the starting role, man. Like, he's a solid depth piece that you can use in emergency instances, and can give you a couple pinch hitting appearances or something like that, or maybe start once every 6 days or some shit. I don't know, but he has a negative WAR. That's really all I have to say for his career. He has a negative WAR.
I think the biggest piece that were the 2 guys that we really need back, obviously besides Rizzo and Horner, we really need Duffy and Marisnick. I mean, they are, especially with Marisnick, was platooning super well with Hap. So Hap and
Yeah.
left-handed pitching. So we first off, we just need more right-handed hitting outfielders at the moment.
Mm.
And we definitely need Duffy back now that Bodie's out for a little bit. Good news on Bodie that I saw that no ligaments were torn when the shoulder was coming out. So that's good news, but we don't know how long that's going to take. So we definitely need some of our right-handed hitters back.
Right. Yeah, no, you sum it up perfectly, man. And I agree with especially Marisnick. We're really missing that defense, and we're missing he just brought a different energy, man. I don't know how else to really explain it. He just brought a different energy. It was fun to watch run the bases, and his at-bats were always professional. If he didn't get a hit, 7, I always talk about your bats. If you get 7 pitches or more, that's like a professional at bat. That's what you want to see out of your players. So he was someone who would always do that. So you're missing that. Obviously, Matt Duffy's the same type of player. Not going to hit a home run, but give you a solid professional at bat. And yeah, they're just really missing that on the infield and the outfield right now. So hopefully tomorrow we get an update on that and see where they're at. And I'm hoping that at least Rizzo's in the line, because they haven't put him on the IL yet. He just hasn't played. He was suited up today in a jersey. I feel like if the game was close, maybe he would have gotten a bat. But I think if he's suiting up today, then I think he might be in the lineup tomorrow. So here's the hoping.
Yeah, tomorrow's a night game, so they'll test him out early in the day and see what happens.
Right. Okay. Well, anything else on tomorrow's game, man? Give me a fly W player, and then we'll kind of go through the last series against the Reds.
I think I'm going to stick with Javi facing a left-handed pitcher tomorrow. Plus, I think he made some comments after the game how much he was looking forward to facing Tatis. So I think he's going to shine just like Tatis is. I think he's going to continue to hit. So I'm going to go with Baez. Yeah,
I like that. And Javi, he's a guy that I have been very hard on, no doubt. And the thing is like when he's on, he's on. He's the best shortstop in the league if when he's on. And when he's not on, he is the worst shortstop in the league. And
out today. So you got 2. I think it was the first home run was on a full count, I think, and the whole stadium standing up, Javi, and he just blasts one. And I think he's feeling it. And I think he's going to have a good matchup tomorrow.
Right. Dope Redbeard says KB's absolutely wearing out left-handed pitching this year, which is true. I'm pretty sure he's slugging over 900 against left-handed pitching. Obviously, Chafin is my guy, and I'm always going to take him as my fly W pick. But if I had to pick an offense player, I'll take Chris Bryant with Dope Redbeard. That's my guy. Let's take a live look at the Chris Bryant sucks crowd. Oh, it's really quiet. Am I right? Anyway,
Jesse Rogers has been pretty quiet.
Yeah, Jesse Rogers has been pretty quiet about it. That tweet that he got ratioed over, it's gonna come back to life whenever if the Cubs make a run, go to the playoffs or something. Because I can't understand why a reporter in the biggest market outside of New York is out here rooting for the Cubs to trade off. I don't get that. I don't get that. So. Yeah, man. So we've been about 28, 29 minutes here. Just get some quick thoughts about the series against the Reds. The Cubs took 2 out of 3. Like I said, the Cubs have won 7 of their last 8. And that loss in there, I was actually at the game on Sunday. Unfortunately, it was a very boring game. The Cubs offense did not show up. Jake Arrieta, another start. I guess if there's anything to be worried about still, it's Jake Arrieta. He was very good in April, and then in May he's been very blah. He's really struggled in the first inning, but after that he's managed to get you at least 5 innings. But he didn't do that yesterday.
Nope.
And Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos are no joke. They beat him up, and and then the Cubs, we talk about this offense and how the first 6 guys, you think what you're going to get. And then after that, you don't know. And we got a lot of that yesterday. We just, the offense was dead. But at the end of the day, the Cubs took 2 of 3. So I wasn't too upset. It was just more of man, you really wish you could have got the sweep with the Padres coming in. Didn't really matter though, considering they won today. So, a big part of the loss yesterday is why I didn't feel good going into today's game. And, what do I know?
We just think, I mean, at some point the injuries are probably going to catch up with us.
Uh-huh.
You keep your fingers crossed that these guys are able to keep the momentum going. And I saw a lot of things with Alcantara before he came up a couple of days ago. He's hitting someone said that he's hitting with player of the month kind of stuff. So as long as if he can continue hitting like that, I mean, that's a plus. So if we can just keep these guys hot, we'll ride it until our guys can come back.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm trying to think of any big highlights from the weekend. I know obviously Saturday was a good day, and so was Friday. Did Albert Alzolay started on Friday, I believe, and he gave the Cubs a really good outing, which is always a good sign.
And then Cody hit a solo homer. That was the only.
Oh yeah, they won 1-0 on Friday and off the Bodie solo homer, which the wind blowing 30 miles per hour in, and he happens to get it out because it was just a straight line drive. That was wild. But the bullpen and everything showed up, and then Albert Alzolay he's putting together consecutive really good starts. That's all you can ask for. I keep saying by the end of the year he's going to be the Cubs' number 2 starter in the rotation, if not number 1, because Kyle Hendricks is just Kyle Hendricks. You love to see that. And then on Saturday, Zach Davies was solid. He gave him 4 or 5, I think it was 5 innings, and the Cubs just scored a ton of runs. And, they, for the most part, Jesse Winkler and Nick Castellanos just did not really do anything against the Cubs this past weekend. So I think that's the biggest thing.
They had their hits, but they were scattered. They came up with a lot of base runners on. So the pitchers did a nice job of at least limiting what they were going to do. Overall, Saturday was much like that game against the Cardinals where, we really broke it open in the 8th inning. Just like you said, Sunday was not fun. But,
yeah,
they bounced back today, which is nice to see.
Right. Dope Redbeard, man. I appreciate you chiming in. He says, guys don't want the team to sell. They're playing like they want to compete and stay together. I completely agree, man. And, I love hearing all these quotes, ones from Chris Bryant saying, we're trying to play our way into them not trading off and all that stuff. And then he says
a couple of weeks ago, said this Contreras the same thing. He's like, let's keep this core together. He's like, we still got it. And they're showing it. We still got it.
Right. He says Tom and Jed should be ashamed if they aren't enjoying the fans and this team having fun. I genuinely think they are enjoying it. That said, they still have a very, very tough job because they do have to think about the future of the organization. And for some part of it, I agree, but the people who and this is mainly towards the fans, is there are fans who think no matter what, the Cubs need to sell Chris Bryant. They need to sell all these other players and build for the future. And it's like, we have something right here and we can re-sign some of these guys in the offseason. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to re-sign all of them, but at least keep some around. Like I said, you're not going to get anything for Chris Bryant that's anywhere near worth Chris Bryant's worth. You know what I mean?
I think we're better off trying to give him a reason to stay.
Right. Let's see. We getting a lot of comments here out of nowhere. This guy says the job that Jed has done finding guys and just have them produce is outstanding. Yeah, we've been talking about that. Thanks for chiming in. Teddy 270, Patrick Wisdom. I like that guy. Hell yeah, I like that guy too. So anyway, man, I think we pretty much summed up the weekend. It was a great weekend, great Memorial Day weekend. Like I said, Cubs finished 19-8 in May, which is insane. They finished 11-15 in April. This season is completely turned around. People went from talking about trading everyone to, at least questioning what do we do? And now there's just a huge test in June, man. Like we kind of talked about the games coming up. It's just going to be a huge test. If this team goes 500 over the next 2 weeks, I think this team is going to stand pat at least. I still don't think they're going to be buying anyone unless it's like a depth piece, or maybe Max Scherzer. But, other than that, I don't know. I think that this team has so many bigger aspirations with this squad because this team is just playing like they don't want it to be broken up. And I love to see that.
You've seen that their run differential just skyrocket. They're at plus 32. I'm not sure if that includes today or not. But you've seen that just skyrocket, and that's a pretty good indicator of how a team's playing. So you just see them skyrocket as they've been scorching hot through May.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't even play a lot of bad teams in May. I mean, they played the Dodgers, in which they swept and led to me eating the entire thing of fucking mayonnaise. The Cardinals series you pointed out earlier, they played really well in that series, 1, 2 out of 3. Even in April when they were not good, they swept the Mets somehow. I don't even know how that happened.
They played the Pirates. The Reds aren't the greatest, but the Reds are not bad at all.
Yeah.
I think, bringing up the Reds again, we got to bring up Amir Garrett.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
That was
go ahead.
That was fun to watch. I was disappointed he didn't get to face Javi. Getting to see Javi just throw up one of these.
Yeah. Just taunting him as he walked off. It was kind of like the Cubs got their turn to like show up him because he was showing up the Cubs for no reason other than just to boost himself up in Cincinnati earlier this year. It was very fun. It was very cool and tough, as we like to say on the show. Amir Garrett, he has not been good, bro. He is like a 12 ERA still, I'm pretty sure. So you hate to see it. Better luck next time, kid. So, yeah, I don't think I got anything else, though. Dope Redbeard, again, I just want to point out his comment, says, appreciate the show, fellas, as a joy as always. Good to know there are fans who feel the same way I do. Hey, man, I appreciate you always chiming in. And, I feel like we're not too far off from all the fans who are like, oh, we should sell. But I also feel like at the same time, it's like rooting for the team to suck is just not fun. And it's not like this team is like in 2011 when the Cubs were not good and didn't have any organizational depth, didn't have like a good organization at all. Theo Epstein built what this organization is today, whether people want to agree with it or not. And we're seeing it instilled right now because Jed Hoyer is just kind of taking his spot, and he has helped keep this team good. He could have not brought in any of these guys, and they could have just sold off, and we'd go back to being the lovable losers. He really could have, you know what I mean, if he wanted to redo it the way he wanted to. But you have to give credit to all the work Jed Hoyer did in terms of bringing in these low buying guys, and who have almost all seemingly have panned out.
Right.
So,
I've had a lot of back and forths with some people on Twitter. Dope Redbeard, we've had a couple back and forths on Twitter. Just a lot of good conversations. A lot of people, some people agreeing with me about, the biggest thing I talk about on Twitter is pitchers getting taken out a little too early. Today was another day for that, but, Alcantara came in and hit a double, so I'll shut myself up for that one. We've had a lot of good back and forths. Some people think I'm being too critical of David Ross, or think that I don't think he's doing a great job. Doing a great job.
Yeah.
There's always something, especially when you're sitting on your couch.
Right. Well, and we've had this conversation, and I'm with you, because we definitely do need more innings out of the starters, but I also feel like David Ross just senses whenever that pitcher is done, because the hard contact rate is just skyrocketing. And also, they always talk about, and this isn't just like the Cubs broadcast, they're talking about this on national broadcast too, like that third time through the order, like, can you get through it? Basically, I just don't think David Ross trusts any of our guys outside of Adbert Alzolay and Kyle Hendricks to get through through the lineup the third time in a row. I just don't think he trusts any of them. Maybe Jake if he has it going. But
the thing that's working too is he's getting our bullpen guys clean innings, and it's clearly working. So
right,
I'll gladly shut my mouth if this continues to work.
So. Yeah, no, it is what it is, man. And like I said, even though we went out and he only gave you 5 innings today from Cole Stewart, which he probably could have given more considering the lead and everything. You still got three. You got 3 strong innings out of, or two and a third strong innings out of Keegan Thompson, and the Cubs just haven't had any guy in the bullpen who could do that. We're used to seeing one guy per inning, and they've been able to use Keegan Thompson in this kind of a 2-3 inning type role, and that will play in this day and age. So, all right, man. Well, anyway, anything else before I give the spiel and get out of here?
No, I'm all good.
All right. Well, I want to remind everyone to head on over to OnTapSportsNet.com, get all your Chicago sports needs. You can follow the official Cubs podcast of the network on Twitter at Cubbies on Tap. Like I said, on Twitter and on Instagram. And then you can follow me, Cody at Cody on Tap, and Joe at Joe Maris. Yeah, we'll be back for recap tomorrow for Game 2 of the Padres series. So, Joe, if you got nothing else, I got nothing else. Let's get out of here the only way we know how.
Let's
go Cubs.